What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back with a match preview because just another international break is coming around the corner. I feel like we just had an international break. I'm so done with international football. This literally international breaks make me not want to even watch the World Cup or the Euros because I'm so annoyed with all the breaks. But before we get to the break, though, before we get another match, we've got another match before we get there. And it's Spurs, who seem to have our number in recent years, and Thomas Frank, who also seems to have our number as well. So we've got a little bit of work ahead of us. Fun little combination of foes there ahead of us. So we're here today, though. We're going to preview the action, talk a little bit of tactics, what you can expect from Spurs, because I think the theme of the show is you don't really know what you can expect from Spurs, but you do know what you can expect from United, which might have a lot to do with what you can expect from Spurs, as we'll talk about. We're going to talk a little bit of team news, predictions. I want your 11s. I have my 11 as well. Score predictions, all that fun stuff. Then we're going to talk a little transfer news and whatnot as well before we dive into all of that. So really excited to get involved. Go check out last night's Kickabout video if you guys haven't done so yet. Really cool anniversary edition with Dylan. We were talking about a year under Ruben Amorim. What's good, what's bad, how we progressed. We changed up our predictions based on what we've seen over the course of time. So really cool video. Go back and check that one out if you guys haven't yet. I really had a lot of fun. Don't forget, a lot of scouting reports came out this week. We did a deep dive on Angelo Stiller, and I did a deep dive on a left back that I think that United should definitely go and try to get as an upgrade to Diogo Dalot. So go check those ones out as well. We're going to get stuck in, though, you guys. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. I'd appreciate it. Just give the video a share as well. Just wherever you're watching, that would be a big help. We're on the road to 3K. I'd love to get the 3K before Dylan and I go to Manchester in December. And I promised on last night's show, if we get there before then, I will give the winner. I will pick out whatever you want from the mega store while Dylan and I are there. I will buy it for you. I'll bring it back. I'll ship it to you. So you guys, with your help, I think we can get there. We've been cruising, and I love to see it get to 3K, you guys. So appreciate all the help that you guys have been doing, all the engagement, all the shares, all the likes, all that stuff. You guys are absolute legends, each and every one of you. All of you. I love all of you. So let's dive in here, guys. Let me just up in front of the chat, though, and see what's going on. Sanjay's in the house, or maybe not. He just stopped in to drop a like and then say he'll be back tomorrow. Big up, Sanjay. Hope you're doing well, man. Jimbo's in the house. Big up, Jim. Good to see you again. Hope you guys are doing well. Roman, I've been well. How are you doing today, Roman? It's been a busy day. Today was the last day not necessarily the last day. So you guys I've been in this PFA class for the last year. So today my group submitted our final paper. So that part of it's done. We don't have any more meetings. We're done with class meetings. We've got the paper we submitted that today. It was like a 40-page paper. And then we've got a group presentation in a couple weeks. And then the class will be done. And then I start my course for player care certification. So that's awesome too. But yeah, almost done with the PFA course. We're almost there. But it's been really cool. It's been a really big blast to interact with players and coaches and agents even from all around football and stuff. Here's some really good speakers. You know, we've had Graham Potter speak. Les Ferdinand's come in and spoken with us a little bit as well. So it's been really cool to obviously join them virtually, but to still kind of be a part of that and just meet some people. Honestly, it's really cool to get different perspective on things. So, but I've been good. Hopefully you guys' week's going well. Rob's in the house. Good to see you, Rob. Rob's very active in the United vs. Everybody WhatsApp group, which is available to Starting 11 and Legends members as well. There's a link to that in the community tab. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see that as well. I wish you could pin posts in the community tab. That'll make a lot of things a lot simpler, but good to see everyone in the house. Congrats to Ruben Amorim, who's been voted the Premier League Manager of the Month for October. Don't know how you guys. I know some people are really, really surprised at that, given just all the hate that Amorim has been getting over the last year or so. Some people are surprised, but I think that it's well deserved. Finally had a decent month. Finally put together a good run of form. I'd like it to keep going. I'd love it to keep going on Saturday, but Premier League Manager of the Month, Ruben Amorim. That's a clean sweep for us for the month. We got Brian Mbeumo as Premier League Player of the Month for October as well. We talked about that yesterday. So Amorim and Mbeumo, I like it. We're clean sweep in October. I like what I see. But let me know if you guys are shocked at that. Do you think it should have gone someplace else? I want to know your thoughts. Everything. Roman says the Black Rooney and Mbumo. Mbumo is a baller, man. I was so excited when we signed him. You guys know I wore that fake beard all day for that stream. I did literally sat on that Boom design T-shirt for a while and finally released that. I love when I get to do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, clean sweep in October for United. Really happy about that. Moving on to some transfer talk, we've got some reports from Fabrizio Romano this morning regarding something that we also discussed a little bit earlier this week, including yesterday, but potential January exit, specifically Kobbie Mainoo. Ruben Amorim, I'm sorry, Fabrizio Romano was speaking with Matteo Moretto, I believe, and talking a little bit about just more in detail some of the stuff he said the other day about Kobbie Mainoo. But we got another suitor potentially for Kobbie Mainoo, and that's West Ham apparently now. Romano, according to Romano, West Ham are offering Kobbie Mainoo a guaranteed starting spot. Mainoo would still be open to a loan move in January. He would like to go and play somewhere for 6 months and then return to United. It's up to United. So that is what Fabrizio Romano had to add to all the Kobbie Mainoo rumors that we had spoken about. I don't know. I obviously have asked you guys a couple times now. I don't know what your thoughts are on the whole Kobbie Mainoo situation. I've got a problem with it. I mean, before I get into that, so Romano also said Napoli are still potentially interested. I think Kevin De Bruyne is injured again. Surprise, surprise. I have my problem, and I said this a long time ago when we got all this bullshit about him wanting to leave, like literally the second week of the season. If Kobbie Mainoo's main concern is getting selected for the World Cup, I have a problem with it. If he has a problem with wanting more minutes, I understand it, but I'd also expect anybody to want, especially a young player, to work hard, realize maybe there's not something that they're seeing, maybe there's something I need to be working on, maybe ask questions, maybe put in some extra hours. I don't know. I would expect that from him. I'd be disappointed if he's just throwing a fit because he wants minutes or because he wants to go to the World Cup and that's what his main concern is. If the World Cup is your main concern, then you should just go because we can't have that. Your focus needs to be here. Maybe that's a problem too. If there is legitimate truth to some of this, maybe that's a thing for Ruben Amorim, is that your mind is not 100% focused on Manchester United. So maybe that's the problem. We saw that with Rashford. We've seen that with Garnacho. Ruben Amorim has literally said, if you're not 100% focused here, then I can't trust you, basically. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what's going on. But I don't know what you guys' thoughts. West Ham, guaranteed minutes for Kobbie Mainoo. Who's he going to replace at West Ham? Paquetá. Who else has Souček? Who else does West Ham have in midfield? I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. You guys let me know. Who's the dude they got from Southampton? The dude that some United fans want. Hold on. It's right on the tip of my tongue. We've talked about him a couple times now in the past. So West Ham, they've got So Ward-Prowse, that's what I'm thinking of. So they got Ward-Prowse, they got Paquetá. Doof looks pretty good. He was playing really well. Mateus Fernandes, they just signed as well. He's really, you guys know, I like him. He was my pick from Southampton last year if they got relegated with Mateus Fernandes. Like I said, Souček. And yeah, they've got a lot of people I've not really ever heard of, but I'm not a West Ham fan. But is he gonna get guaranteed minutes over Paquetá, over Ward-Prowse, over Souček? I doubt it. But if that's what they're going to do, then that's what they're going to do. Rob says Kobbie wouldn't get in the England midfield at the moment. Yeah, and I think if he just wants to go, then it's a problem because he's still young. He's still got maybe 3 World Cups in him if he develops and works hard. Like, how about work hard, develop, and give Ruben Amorim a decision to make, and maybe you can earn your spot in the World Cup side. But Rob says, I think Kobbie will get plenty of playing time. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't know who he's going to replace when AFCON comes, unless you think maybe Bruno is going to get pushed higher up the pitch and Kobbie will come in, maybe play next to Casemiro. That's literally the only thing I can see. But I don't know if Amorim is going to want to change things that drastically during AFCON, is moving Bruno to a completely different side of the pitch, because Kobbie does not do what Bruno does. He just doesn't. And so I wonder. Now, I've seen some people say maybe Kobbie can play as a false 9. Maybe Kobbie can play in one of the 10s. Now, it depends on how you look at those 10s, because what we've seen is those 10s get pretty wide, especially Mbumo and Ahmad on that right-hand side. Those two get wide and they get vertical very quickly. There's a lot of overloads, a lot of link-up. Kobbie's not that guy. If you're playing like as a standard 10, where you kind of free roaming, maybe like a Yaya Toure kind of up and down, linking things up, maybe, but we don't play that way. With the way that Cunha plays, maybe I could see Cunha and Dorgu or Cunha and Dallo are not as overload, as vertical as the right hand side, but that's something we've seen from Amorim even at Sporting as well. So maybe there's a chance, but I don't know if Kobbie's got a role. I don't think he offers enough off the ball. I don't know if he does enough on the ball, at least to replicate now. But it's not up to me, is it? I think that I'd be hesitant to let go of too many midfielders right now without getting adequate replacements. And these replacements have to be better than who you have almost, because then what's the point otherwise, right? I mean, Kobbie's not getting the side who these other midfielders that we're getting linked with going to get him ahead of anybody else. Sanchit's in the house. Big up, Sanchit. Good to see you. Says United looking for a replacement for Bruno this January, or someone who could play next to Bruno. I don't know. So far, all we've got are rumors is that we're looking for midfielders, and they don't really specify. You'd imagine that we're not looking maybe right this second to oust Bruno, which is probably a summer thing. But we need to. If it's true, I would like that we're being a little more proactive about it. I don't think Ugarte's tenure at United is long for this world. Mainu doesn't really seem to be showing Amorim enough, either just characteristics or effort or focus, if he's focused on the World Cup. So I couldn't tell you. Casemiro, I love the way he's been playing. He's probably a good shout for my player this season so far. Literally most goals of any midfielder in the league right now. But he's 33, I think. He's probably, and his contract's up. And then Bruno, I mean, Bruno could go either way. I could sell him. I could keep him. I could see both things happening, and I could see myself not being too fussed about either of it at this point. But you just don't know. We could get another big offer in the summer, and it might be more difficult for us to turn that down. But again, you can't force him. Then you get him disgruntled, and then we might not get as much money. So very difficult to anticipate a lot of this. But big up, Sanchi, going on, man. Jim says, what's wrong with Mainu is things happened to him too early. He was playing well. Getting into England's squad now, he has unrealistic expectations. Needs to go back to basics. I mean, and that's the thing I've said this months ago when all this stuff started. Like, he just needs. It used to be a time when, especially when you're a young player, that you knew like there are other people ahead of me. I need to work hard. I need to be ready. I need to try to develop. I need to try to understand what the manager wants from me, and I need to work on that. I need to stay late. I need to arrive early. I need to do extra stuff. Hire some personal trainers, hire this and that, whatever they need for me. Because I need to be ready, and I need to, push to give Amorim a decision to make when it comes to that starting 11. If Mainu could get more physical, I think he could be trusted in the Casemiro role. If he had a better passing range, I think he could be more trusted in that Bruno role, because I do think he is more press resistant than Bruno because he's so good on the ball. I don't think Bruno is as good dribbling as Mainu is when it comes to that initial press and driving that ball up from deep. But Kobbie's also young, and so I don't expect him to be the finished article, just like I don't expect that of Dorgu or even Euro at this stage. He's not there yet. He's still growing physically. We just saw him get a growth spurt and get some muscle in him over the summer. Like, he's young. I think people need to recalibrate their expectations on some of these young players. And Kobbie is included in that. And I think Kobbie needs to understand that as well. He needs to maybe recognize, get some perspective, maybe show some humility and self-awareness and say, all right, like, I'll just work hard here. Like, just wanting to go and get minutes, man. It's just, I just don't get that. But it sounds, I mean, we'll see. Rumors so far, but I hope that that's not the case. But it sounds like he could have some suitors with West Ham lurking, Napoli potentially lurking, could go get a reunion with McTominay. Who knows? I do think a 3-man midfield system suits him more than a 2-man pivot. I think that if we played a 3-5-2, Kobbie would be starting week in, week out. Whether he's ready or not, what do you agree? I think he would, but that is what it is. But again, if his main concern is World Cup selection, I'd be a little bit worried about that. Romano also added that West Ham, on top of looking at Kobbie, West Ham also have Joshua Zirkzee on their list as well. But according to Romano, Zirkzee wants to stay and fight for his spot. He does have a spot. Zirkzee is the one, especially when AFCON comes around. I do see him kind of slotting in. We're going to be completely void on that right-hand side of our 2 starters in Ahmad and Mbeumo. And that's going to be a bit of a problem. And then Mazraoui is going to be gone too. So we're going to be stuck with Dorgu and Dallo for AFCON as our wide backs, or our wing backs, we need some help. So that left back that I did that video on the other day would definitely be welcome addition, because Dogu can play both sides, so can Dallo, but I would like to have some cover. And so I think alone with an option for that left back I talked about would have been the one to do. But Xerxes, I do think staying, because we can't keep getting rid of players. Obviously, Mount can come in and play there as well. Xerxes needs to be an option. And I mean, hesitant to get rid of too many players unless I knew that we were getting other players in right now, even with AFCON. And then the FA Cup's coming up too. So I don't want to lose depth. I don't want to lose numbers, when really the fact that we're only playing once a week now, and I think the fitness and the lack of injuries reflects that. I think that we're in a good spot, and I don't want to see people get stretched when the FA Cup rolls around again either. So we only need to add players. I don't want to keep losing players. Danny's in the house. Big up, Danny. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Finishing up work. Appreciate the like. Jim says hope he's not focusing on the money. 180 not worth it. I don't even know if I believe a lot of the stuff that Chris Wheeler was coming out with when it came to wages. We haven't seen anything since. First it was 200, and then it dropped to 180, and both of these rumors came from Chris Wheeler. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know what Kobbie's on now. I probably wouldn't give him anything more than like 100K a week right now, and then you can revisit in a couple years. But again, it's not just about ability. There are too many people, I think, who focus so much on ability and not mentality. Because if you can have all the ability in the world, but if you don't have the mentality, if you don't have like the personality of the match, then it doesn't matter. It's a waste. We look at like guys like Neymar and stuff, not or Balotelli even. Like, it's not enough. You have to have it right between the ears, and some of these players just don't. I'm gonna get some more tea. But could you see Mainu leaving in January? Could you see Xerxes leaving in January? Can we afford to lose either in January without getting an adequate replacement? We're going to talk about some replacement stuff here in a second here, but yeah, I just don't think Kobbie's got to show me that he's motivated, that he's dedicated a little bit, and he's focused on United. That should be his priority. I mean, I'm not English, so obviously I don't have skin in the game. Y'all can decide what you want, but I'm going to be a club before country. Kind of, that's just the way I am. Like, it just is what it is. Sorry if you disagree, but we pay your wages. We are your career. World Cup is not. So you need to represent and reprioritize and maybe stay humble a little bit. So moving on, though, you guys get your thoughts in on Kobbie and Xerxes. West Ham maybe offering some money. Romano also mentioned, I thought I'd throw this out there because I do like a little bit of self-affirmation here, but Romano also mentioned that Barcelona midfielder Marc Casado could leave in January. Apparently he's changed agents. He's now working with Jorge Mendes, so maybe he'll show up at Wolves. I don't know. The reason I bring it up is because I did mention Casado in my recent scouting report special, not the ones from this week. This was like the batch that I do with like 5 or 6 young players. But he was featured in my last one that came out. I've got another one coming out too. I'll save it for the international break though. But I do like him a lot. He reminds me a lot of Pavlovic at Bayern. Good off the ball, good passing range. He comes through La Masia, so he's got those techers, that Spanish style. He's good in tight spaces, knows how to read space. I like Casado a lot. But I thought I'd mention that because if he's not getting regular minutes, which is going to be hard to do in that Barcelona midfield right now with guys like Pedri and De Jong and whatnot, but wouldn't be surprised to maybe see him move on maybe in a loan. Now, Romano claims that he does want to stay at Barca. Everybody wants to stay at Barca, but eventually you will want to get some minutes. So I'm not going to pretend to be a hypocrite and say, well, Kobbie wants minutes. Why should he leave? It's different when it's about just getting a player. So Jim says definitely club before country. Well, I'm glad I'm not alone. Again, it's not about right and wrong. It's just the way I feel. But it is what it is. I just think that, we're your job and the World Cup is not your job. So it is. And like I said, these international breaks coming every month, it's just killing any sort of enthusiasm I had for international football, period. Like, I'm already going to go into this World Cup in the summer with a little bit of a grudge because of all the international breaks. All I ask for in an international break is that some players come down with the international break flu and they don't even go. And then if they do go, I just pray no injuries. As long as we come back through this with no injuries, that's fine. It's just injuries, man, and you just never know. And I go into these international breaks just worried that somebody's going to pull up with an injury, but we'll see what happens there. Let's move on to a little bit. So I know I go in on Indy Kayla a lot. You guys know that I go in on Indy Kayla a lot, but it's worth mentioning not just because I'm like, oh, I believe the rumor. I just want to know where you guys stand on this player, because Indy Kayla had some claims regarding Mark Gahey. I'm going to make this bigger so you guys can actually read that real quick. There we go. Because Indy Kayla had some stuff to say. So we understand on Tuesday that Man United tried to hijack Liverpool transfer target Mark Gahey. Word came in on Tuesday afternoon that United's making a serious move for him, and by Tuesday evening, Liverpool got the heads up from their sources at Crystal Palace. Liverpool's still very confident on signing the player, but the package Manchester United is very attractive compared to Liverpool. So reportedly, we're offering a little better package. They close and say Mark Gahey wants Champions League football. United do understand, we are aware of this. So I like Mark Gahey a lot. I think he's an excellent defender. I think he's a leader. He plays on that left-hand side, so he's used to playing on that left-hand side. I think he gets about the pitch. He's physical. He's got mentality. I like him a lot. So the issue, though, is the fact that this is coming from Indy Kayla. So we're gonna forget about the rumor itself. We're just gonna talk right now about Mark Gahey specifically, because I want to know what you think of Mark Gahey. Do you rate him? Do you think that we have any sort of chance in this? What do you see happening with our defenders this summer? Because there's 3 defenders who are almost question marks at the moment for various reasons. Like I said, I like him. I don't know if I see him going anywhere other than Liverpool. I've saw reports as well this morning that Real Madrid were interested, and reached out to him and his representatives, but he basically told them he'd already given his word to Liverpool, so that's not happening. Rob can see a battle for Gahey, quality defender. Yeah, and that's the other thing. He's going to be a free agent this summer. Now, again, free agent and free, not the same thing. There's no such thing as free in football. Even if you're a free agent, you're going to have to offer some bonuses. You're going to have to offer a little incentive for the agents, because you're basically, and maybe even a signing on bonus, because you're basically trying to outbid everybody right now in terms of what you can offer. Now, what Liverpool can probably offer is, especially in the summer, it's probably a little bit more of a predominant role, because I don't see Joe Gomez hanging on. I don't know what's going on with Konate. Supposedly they're trying to work on that contract for Konate. I don't know if Van Dijk has it in him these days. It seems like all he can do is twerk and yell at his teammates, and maybe score an odd header on a corner here and there. So I just don't know. They don't really have a lot of depth at center back, Liverpool, at the moment. I know they signed a couple over the years. I don't think any of those guys are still there anymore. So I honestly forgot Joe Gomez was still there until a couple weeks ago when I saw him playing. So, so Gahey probably has a chance. Now, he would have a good chance of getting minutes at United if Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw continue maybe to have injury. Now, both of them look fine. Leach is coming back. Jury's still out on the long-term prognosis there. Luke Shaw's look very good. Probably helps that we're only playing 1 game a week, and he's no longer a left back. And then Harry Maguire's contract. Everything seems pretty relaxed as far as that is concerned. We'll see. I'm sure he and his agent are weighing up options. I'm sure United are being proactive and weighing up their options as well. We got reports yesterday from a couple different outlets that center back and center midfielder were going to be the priority, that we weren't looking at wing backs. I think that we need to look at wing backs, but do you even think that we could convince Mark Gahey? What would it take for Mark Gahey to choose United over, Liverpool? Like if Real Madrid were informing, I don't know what Real Madrid are doing. Obviously, I mean, Howson had an awful match against Liverpool the other day. He was just all over the place. He's still a great defender, but he just did not. He had a howler. I don't know what you guys think. Graham Bailey thinks that any move for a center back is going to hinge on Lisandro Martinez. He wrote about that earlier today. He even adds, Graham Bailey, that United scouts have actually also told the club that a fit and firing Lisandro Martinez is still better than some of the players that they've been watching and following. So I agree. I think a fit and firing Lisandro Martinez is a perfect defender for this system personally. And again, the question mark is just if this ACL issue is going to continue to be a problem. Now, we've seen players come back from multiple cruciate injuries to both legs. Like Van Dijk got a cruciate injury a few years back, missed the entire season. Liverpool fans will be happy to remind you because for them, that's the reason why they didn't win anything that season. But it's Liverpool fans, so what are you going to do? But so players, my point is players can come back from it. They just can. But it's all dependent on the player and obviously the medical help. Now, we've been taking it slow. We've been conservative with Lisandro Martinez's recovery, which I'm all for. Don't want to rush him in. That's a big part of why we had issues from recovering. Remember, he got that metatarsal fracture. Wasn't fully healed. We kind of rushed him back, and then he had to go back out. And he came back after that, and then Soufal just fell on his leg, and that hurt him. And then he came back from that after a long layoff, and then it was the non-contact, the ACL, which he's currently recovering from. So, and that's what I worried about. I don't think he's injury prone. I think he's had one bad injury that's not contact related, but I do worry that the other contact related stuff has maybe shortened that career and made him a little bit more injury prone potentially. I don't know yet. That's why I said the jury's out, because I do think a fit and firing Licha is the best defender that we've got right now. Let's see who's in the chat. Jim says a video with Rooney was funny. Van Dijk's very defensive. Yeah, I mean, it's Liverpool. They can't handle anything that doesn't go their way, basically. Watching Danny Murphy try to say that Arne Slot wasn't complaining. He literally complained. People, I've seen Liverpool fans like, no, he's just saying they can't go. No, he literally said everybody who plays us changes the way they play. They switch the long balls. Like, he's basically calling out all the opposition clubs for changing the way they play. Basically, he's trying to say that everyone's intimidated by Liverpool, but it's full of shit. Rob says Martinez to start this week. Heard he's going international duty. Yeah, I saw a little bit of a rumor that he might go train with his international teammates instead of just hanging out at United. I'd be worried about that. I think it could be good for him to hang out with some of his international teammates just for morale. I don't know if I'd want him doing any sort of contact training and stuff, because again, club before country, he's our player. He's contracted with us. I'd rather be conservative with that. If he wants to go and hang out with them for the week, whatever, that's fine. Maybe take part in gym work and light stuff, but no full contact training, nothing too strenuous. I'd be fine. And I'd be getting that in writing, because if he goes and he does anything and he gets hurt, I'm suing the shit out of Argentina. The whole country sued. They're done. Yeah. And then like Rob says, maybe good for him to see some family. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I think people are surprised at what, especially when you're recovering from stuff, when you're dealing with health stuff, people would be surprised at just what, mentality, how big a role that the psychology of it does play in, just with, even if you just look at it from another point of view, like chronic stress and stuff, what that does to like your body chemical wise, your internal, like the opposite can be true as well. So it could be good for him. I'm not saying it's going to miraculously heal him. I'm just thinking it's going to be good to keep him in a good positive mindset, like a fun little boost. As long as he's not draining, that's fine. But I like Guehi a lot. I think he's a very, very good defender. I think a back three of Guehi, De Ligt, and Laniora would be absolute fire. That would cook, I think, right now. And then you've got like guys like Heaven coming in. Mazraoui can fill in if we need him to as well. I think that would be very, very good. If we lose Maguire because he doesn't want to take a wage cut, if Shaw and Licha can't stay fit, Guehi, I think, would be very, very good. Even if we had to switch to a back two now and then, imagine Guehi and De Ligt. That would be an excellent back two, man. But I like Guehi a lot. So you guys let me know what you think. Anything in this? Want to know your thoughts. Moving on, more transfer news. We haven't even gotten into the match preview yet. We're a half hour in. I love it. Good chatting so far. United are apparently on a list of several big clubs reportedly keeping tabs on the next Erling Haaland is what this kid's been called. I don't know why he's called the Erling Haaland, because he's not a striker. He's a winger, basically. But that's what he's been called in a lot of different outlets. Let me move this over here. Okay. Come on. There we go. Got it. So this is 18-year-old Ivorian attacker Yan Diomande. Currently plays for RB Leipzig. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists in all comps this season for RB Leipzig. Looked him up a little bit. Watched him a little bit at RB Leipzig. Not a ton. I don't watch as much Bundesliga these days as I used to, but he's an exciting young forward. He does really well when he's got that freedom to kind of get about the pitch. where he can showcase, he's got pace, he's got really good dribbling ability, he's got really good ability 1v1s on the ball. He's really trusts himself, and he's got the capabilities of beating defenders 1v1. He's literally in the top 1% right now for dribbles per 90 and successful take-ons per 90, top 9% for shot creating actions. So he's able to get the ball up the pitch and put it in a good area for his team. But he also puts in a shift off the ball, which is nice for an attacker. He's in the top 1% for interceptions per 90 when it comes to forwards, and he's in the 72nd percentile for tackles per 90 for forwards. So he's what it tells you is he's young, he's got energy, he's got physicality, he's got mentality, and he gets about the pitch. So I really, really like that. Big up Box in the house. Let me get this guy on small guy here. There we go. Box is in the house. Good to see you, Box. Hope you're doing well. Tim, welcome back. Tim could be the missing piece. Yeah, Gehi, I think he could be a really good shrewd piece of business. It would be hilarious if we came in and hijacked that, but I think that it's like Grant. I do agree with a little bit with Grant Bailey. I do think a lot of that does hinge on the fitness of our current defenders and contract situation. So don't be surprised if we don't bring in any defenders because Shaw and Leach are fit and McGuire ends up staying on lower wages. So, but good to see you guys back in here. Welcome back, you guys. But yeah, according to Graham Bailey, when it comes to Jan Diomande, United have had scouts in attendance for multiple Leipzig matches this season watching him. Now, remember, Leipzig are not in Europe right now either, which is why I featured Leipzig players in my bargain deals of the summer back in the spring, if you guys remember. But I don't have a problem with us maybe utilizing this Christopher Vivell connection with the Red Bull group, maybe letting him reach out to his contacts, dig through the Rolodex, and see if we can get young attackers. I'm all about young attackers who can play in those roles. Guys like Meyer Carrizo, for instance, I'd really love us to go get as an understudy, maybe a rotation option for one of those 10s. This is where I see JJ Gabriel playing in a couple of years, is kind of where Cunha plays, because I see a lot of similarities. JJ Gabriel reminds me a lot of Cunha with a little bit of Neymar mixed in, just with there's a little silkiness to JJ Gabriel, which I like, but I do think JJ Gabriel could be that. Biancheri, I think, could come in and maybe do that job too in one of the 10s. I don't see Biancheri as an out-and-out striker. He's definitely more of a forward, where he's kind of reminds me a little bit of just a pacey running forward, making a lot of late runs in the box, getting on the edge of things, popping up in good spots, which is where I see him. Box says, Spurs, tricky game, but winnable. You need to execute the game plan, be ruthless. Yeah, we're going to dive into that. I'm getting through the transfer news here in a second. So we got the Spurs preview coming up the second half of the show here. So, but big up, Box. Good to see you, man. Bexy's in the house. Welcome back, Bexy. Hard game Saturday. Spurs have some quality. They do, and Thomas Frank is a tricky little manager to plan for, which we'll find out here shortly. So, sticking with young talent playing in Germany, though, we've also been linked. So, outside of Jan Diomande, United have also been linked to another youngster playing in Germany in the second division. So this is coming from Bild, which is a German outlet. They claim that we are monitoring a 16-year-old midfielder named Kenneth Eichhorn, who plays for Hertha Berlin. They were relegated. They're down in the second division right now. He is 16. He's the youngest player to make his second division debut when he played for. I've seen him compared to Toni Kroos. Obviously, when you get young German talent and plays in midfield, they're going to get compared to Toni Kroos. It's just the way it is. That's what people have been calling Angelo Stiller for the last year or two. So, but this kid, he gets about the pitch, well above average when it comes to things like possession won in the final third. So he gets stuck in. He wants to get himself about, which I like. I like that. You're always going to see that from youngsters, that energy, that willingness to get stuck in, that kind of daringness, that fearlessness, that just, we see it from guys like Collier and stuff. They just want to get involved. 17 million is the price tag I've seen thrown around for this kid. I'm not going to pretend like I've watched a lot of him because I have no way of watching the German second division, but looking up his numbers, looking at a little bit of him, I like what I see so far. But I do, and like Rob says, what I like most of all is just a lot of these links. I would love it if more of these links would turn into signings, like we saw with like Christian Orozco and Aiden Heaven and whatnot. But I like that we're looking. I just hope that we can continue to build, but I do hope that we also, not neglect the first team, because we do need help with the first team. We can't go full Arsenal and just sign a bunch of youngsters and then wait 6 years for the process to start actually trying to challenge for anything. So, But I like that we're looking at a lot of these guys. We'll see. Not every youngster we get in is going to make it. That's just part of it. I mean, that's just it is what it is. Not everybody does. Zidane Iqbal's, the Ilangas, Brandon Williams, a lot of these guys, they've come and gone. It doesn't mean they're horrible. They're not quite good enough for what we need. Tahith Chong is another one. Ted and Mengi is another one. I do think that Camboila I would have liked to hold on to, but it is what it is. But you never know until you get him in. And I think the difference maker is just having good coaching, good environment, good culture in there at that level to help them. And I like that we're targeting these youngsters who are leaders, who've got mentality and whatnot. And so 17 million for a 16-year-old is pretty pricey though. I don't know what you guys think about that. What's everybody getting up to this afternoon, man? I got some Earl Grey going on. I'm happy about it. Jim says Anfield Agenda has on thumbnail Gahey promised to join Liverpool. Well, that's the report. I forget where it was from. I don't remember where. Forgive me, but he said that he had reportedly turned down Madrid because he already gave his word. Now that could just be propaganda to try to make it seem like, you know, Liverpool are way ahead. Try to make it seem like Liverpool are, you know, better than Madrid. They're not. I think it's just plain and simple. Not everybody can see Madrid get turned down in favor of them, like Lenny Euro. Just saying. But I don't know, man. If it says Anfield Agenda, I would always take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, personally. Like, I don't have any skin in this game because obviously I'm not a Liverpool fan or Real Madrid fan. But Box says Alvaro seems a rare, genuine what if player. Yeah. That could be a good idea for an episode of What If Box in the future. You know, what if Ten Hag had rolled the dice on Alvaro Fernandez? I might go ahead and make a note of that. Now, remember, starting 11 and Legends members, you can get involved in suggestions for like scouting report players and what if ideas, things like that. So, and there's a post in the community tab on the main page of the channel where you can go do that. It's only visible to you guys. So, but that's a good idea. I could do that one too. You didn't present the idea maybe, but you kind of did in a little ways. So that could be a good one, good little one. I've got the next 4 episodes. So season 4 will drop probably in December when Dylan and I are gone. So you guys have some stuff to engage with while we're traveling and stuff, because we're going to be on the plane for a while. Remember, the league moved that Newcastle match to literally Boxing Day. It was on the 27th. So now. And that, of course, so now we had to rearrange all that stuff. We got to leave a day earlier. We got to get another Airbnb. But now we get to go as neutrals to Burnley versus Everton with that extra day in between. So it'll be United Newcastle, Burnley Everton, Salford Fleetwood Town, and then United Wolves. So that's where we're going. So 4 matches. It went from 3 to 4. So I'm excited about that. I love riding on trains. It's fun. So. But it's just funny the way stuff works out. I had a feeling too. I was like, they can't move this match, can they? And then sure enough, they move the match. So what are you gonna do, man? It is what it is. We make money, we get the TV money, so that's what we're gonna do. But yes, thank you for the suggestion, Box. Rob said Spurs' record against us over the last couple of seasons is unfortunately impressive. Yeah, and so is Thomas Frank's. Unfortunately, we're coming up a little bit of a perfect storm of bogeys for us at the moment. But what it is, Bilal back in the house. Big up, Bilal. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hope everyone's enjoying their little Thursday. I got just clients and cleaning and stuff today, and obviously wrapping up this PFA stuff with this group paper. But it is what it is. Bilal has a recommendation. I think you're trying to get me to say it. I'm not gonna say it. So, but it was great. It was a nice try. You came close, but I didn't say it, man. Stephanie's in the house. Tim says Premier League don't care about the fans. Now you're kind of getting that more and more. So I agree. I mean, obviously I'm not local, so it is what it is. But I am. I guess you could call me a day tripper. But I stay for like 4 or 5 days and I see as much football as I can, whether it's United or not, because I just want to go see football matches. So I try to do as much United. I wish there was academy games. There aren't. I wish there were women's team. There's not. It's just timing. Though last year, Justin and I did get to go to an FA Youth Cup game, watch United play Preston. So that was pretty lit. But I always enjoy doing that. Stephanie says United beat Spurs 3-0. I'm manifesting it. Just manifest it right now. Throw it out there in the universe. I love that. Big up, Stephanie. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Fox said, we've been fixing the negative records lately, though. Won at Anfield for the first time year, draw versus Forest. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're diving into the match preview now, you guys. So you guys are right on time. If you want to get caught up on the transfer news, you can watch the first half of the video later on. But 40 minutes in, let's talk about this match, you guys. Make sure you're liking, please. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys are new as well. Let's get stuck in, because like you guys are saying, when it comes to Spurs, they seem to have our number. Really annoyed. We have not beaten these since October 2022, so Ten Hag's first fall, really been in charge. In fact, we played them 4 times last year. In our last 6 matches against them, we've failed to score, and even in 4 of those matches. So we've come out 4 of 6 of those matches scoreless altogether. King hell, man, seriously. It's pretty much neck and neck, though, this season as far as the 2 clubs. We each have 5 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, literally same goal average per match. We have nearly double the average goals conceded, though, and they have 4 clean sheets to our 1 clean sheet. Basically, what that tells you is that Thomas Frank has come in, and instead of going all out high line like Ange Postecoglou, Thomas Frank has basically made a point of shoring up Spurs' defense this season. He's made them very difficult to break down, which could be a bit of a nightmare for us, especially if we kind of get drawn into that and abandon positions and get a little indisciplined. I hope we can avoid that as well. After a bit of a new manager bounce to kick off the season, Spurs they've been a little shaky recently. They've got just one win in their last 5. They've got 3 losses and 1 draw. So literally 4 points in the league in their last 5 matches. So not great. No goals scored in their last 2 league matches altogether. So now they'll be getting a little bit of a boost. They did just put 4 past Copenhagen. I don't know why. Like, Jamie O'Hara's out here like celebrating like they just won the league, like they just knocked out Real Madrid in the Champions League. They beat Copenhagen, right? Like, yes, Copenhagen, they handled us. I do think that was a shit referee decision in the Champions League, but we were shit. Spurs need to recognize their shit. So, but they may be riding a little bit of a high after that. But aside from Champions League, domestically, Spurs not great. XG of just literally 0.05 against Chelsea recently is the lowest recorded of any team in the Premier League so far this season. They were just not great against Chelsea. Spence and Van de Ven, kind of completely blanked Thomas Frank after the final whistle in that one too, when he tried to get them to go talk to the fans. They weren't having it. You can bet if that happened to Amorim, the media will be all over it, but it is what it is. But yeah, under Thomas Frank, Spurs they're not patient, they're not pragmatic, they're both. Because he looks at matches almost like Mourinho, in the sense of maybe Mourinho can tell where he's going to drop points. Thomas Frank is very adaptable, he's very flexible, he's very opposition focused. He looks at these matches like it's a math problem that he's got to figure out a solution to. So you can expect some changes. You can expect changes mid-match as well, based on how the game is going. They can press, they can go long, they can slow down, but at his core, Thomas Frank is all about, let's get the ball, let's get it up the pitch. Not just long if necessary, but quick transitions. This is the name of the game. It's what we saw a lot of last season from a lot of different clubs. He does like to invite pressure. He does like to open up space that he can exploit, so he wants to suck you in. That's why we can't get drawn in if they want to sit deep. That's what they want. He'll often drop a midfielder back to get involved in that buildup, to basically turn them into a back 3, so that midfielder will drop back between the defenders, the fullbacks will get wider, and so they do like numbers in the buildup. So that's where they try to get you. Overload so they can easily build out with numbers. Look for them also to press high. Again, they try to win that ball back quickly and then just create those chances. So, and then the one thing I do worry about too with Spurs is set pieces. They've really worked hard on set pieces under Thomas Frank. Remember, coming from Brentford is a very data-oriented, data-driven club, from signings to everything, including set pieces and whatnot. And they're really good. They're annoyingly good at them, and something we're shit at defending personally. Let me get you guys in here, see what you guys are up to. Hold on. Rob says Van de Ven scored his wonder goal yesterday, similar to how he scored against us last season. Yeah, nightmares about that. Dylan and I spoke about that last night, man. It's ridiculous, dude. Seriously. Box is not particularly impressed, but we are, like you're saying, we are still in progression. Yeah, I think the Forest match was a reality check. We still have work to do. So, but I want to know what you guys saying here. Stephanie thinks Casemiro versus Paulinho will be an interesting battle. Yeah, basically the same player, right? Paulinho is actually doing pretty well for them. He got a goal and assist. I think was that yesterday. I can't remember now or day before. Oddly enough, Van de Ven is their top scorer right now. So take that what you will. DJ Laz Worldwide, welcome. I think you've been here before. Says if I think we handle pressure well, we can win. But I just feel like they will beat us. Well, get involved. I did put a poll in the chat for you guys. I want to know what you think could happen. So far, 64% of you think United will win this one. 29% think it's going to be a draw. Only 7% think that Spurs will win. So keep getting involved. 14 votes so far. While you're voting, make sure if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do. And if you are new, we love a subscribe. If we get the 3K before Dylan and I go over there on Christmas, I will do a giveaway, and that giveaway will be whatever you want from the mega store. While I'm there, I'll grab it for you and I'll hook you up. Don't forget too, Stephanie, I know you're in the house. New design in the Universe Everybody store. I've got there's lots of women's stuff in there, but I just added a women's cropped hoodie. I'm not a woman, so I don't know what that looks like, but it's out there. I posted a photo of it in the community post. So if anyone is out there, maybe any women out there watching, anybody who's got a woman in their life, let me know. Or guys, if you want to wear the cropped hoodie, that's fine too. No judgment. Do whatever you got to do. Box says we need to get Cunha and Buemo to blitz Spurs, and we need to feed Shesko equals job done. Yeah, I like the way that we handled Liverpool. Like that overload on the right hand side is one of our best weapons right now. I think that's causing a lot of damage. Mbumo's getting a lot of ball. Cunha is dangerous. I want to see Cunha get more involved. Obviously, I'm glad that he broke his duck against Brighton. I want to see more though, and I think that I think everybody's starting to click. The performances are starting to match the metrics, and I think the results are starting to come to follow suit as well. I think that's just what happens when you can build sustainable performances. The results will come, and I think we're starting to see that. Not only that, are the signings that we've made sequentially, like early, mid, late in the summer, they're starting to not only get bedded in, they're all starting to find form as well. And so it's, again, why I always want us to get our business done early in the summer, but shit gonna happen. Tim's not being very confident, going score draw. All right, big up. Make sure you vote. I want to see what those votes look like. So Rob says hopeful of a win, but I think we're going to draw. We'll see. I got my prediction. I actually don't think we're going to draw, but Steffi says 16 likes. Yes, awesome. I love seeing those like buttons, you guys. Make sure you're doing that. Rob says need to be more awake. Start a second half. I don't know what happened there. It was like, did they pump like something into the vent in the dressing room? Because we came out of halftime looking like we just woke up from a nap. You guys know what I'm talking about when you wake up from a nap in the middle of the day, like a good nap, and you wake up and for a second you're like, where am I? Like you feel like you've been kidnapped or something. That's why I don't take naps. I don't like feeling groggy. When I was sick all last week, I was taking NyQuil every night. That's how I felt every morning. It was hard to get out of bed. It was hard to get going. I'm a morning person, so when my morning gets disrupted by a NyQuil fog, I'm not a happy camper. But I needed sleep, and so that is what it is. So, but basically, what Thomas Frank has brought, he's brought defensive stability, quick transitions that look to use that width. But I do think his aggressive style can leave Spurs exposed, like we've seen other teams that press high. If you don't win that ball back, you're very, very vulnerable. And I do think that if you make yourselves compact, if you make yourselves difficult to break down, like Bournemouth did, their attack can get stifled. Just don't give them room to work, and I think you'll be fine. So we do need to be patient. We do need to be focused, disciplined in our positioning, especially. Don't be surprised if we drop back and spend a lot of time in a back five. Just saying, don't be surprised. But also don't be surprised to see completely different tactic from Thomas Frank, because he does adapt a lot to the opposition based on the way he sees. So I almost feel like he does it too frequently. I don't mind doing it now and then, like what Amorim did against Liverpool, but I don't want to see like I like to see some identity. So let's see. Stephanie says at the end of the day, we must take our chances. I think we're getting there. I think we are getting there. So Jim's got to take off. Big up, Jim. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Check the rest of it later on, man. But leave your predictions. Good to see you, bud. Spurs have a few injuries right now as well. Lucas Bergvall is done. Archie Gray's been out for a while. Ben Davies, Bissouma, Solanke, potentially no Mohamed Kudus as well, who is like one of the best assists in the league right now. He's definitely their leader for assists at Spurs. I think he's like 4 assists so far. I've seen some Spurs fans even calling for Jed Spence and even Van de Ven to be dropped anyway. because of what happened after the Chelsea match. Seems like that's all been squashed. It's just so funny. You remember just a little social media gaffe between Sancho and Ten Hag, and the media ran with that for like months. These two players, including the captain, literally blanked that manager on the way out, and no one talks about it. It's all squashed. But Thomas Frank's not a bully. Thomas Frank hasn't lost the dressing room. Like, it's ridiculous. It is what it is. We all know what to expect. But again, Van de Ven's someone you got to watch out for. He's very, very fast, very powerful. Once he gets that ball at his feet, he's able, like we saw yesterday, like we saw last season, he can literally carry the ball on his own from his own box to our box and score. He's done it. He did it last night against Copenhagen. He is their top scorer. Like I said, 3 goals. Paulinho got a goal and an assist last night in just 30 minutes against Copenhagen, so he could be someone that we need to watch out for as well. We all know Brennan Johnson can be tricky. If Dalot starts, I worry about his defending against Brennan because he's just not good on the ball. Johnson likes to make a lot of those little late back post runs. I just don't trust us. We're not really great at defending the back post, so Lamens has got to be on top of things. I think Lamens could be a difference maker for us. I think he is a little bit more alert. He is a little bit more ready and willing to jump off his line to cut out those opportunities before they get started. But we have to put more pressure on the ball. We just can't afford to keep doing that. It's something that amorim had something to say about too. We're going to talk about that in a second. So as far as United goes, we struggled a little bit against Forest, but I do like, and like I said last night on the kickabout, I do like how we fought back. I think that the mentality shift that I've seen in the last couple matches, especially, gives me cause for hope. But it does go to show that match, like someone said earlier, I think it was Rob, like all it takes is a moment of switching off and you're behind and you're struggling and you're trying to fight back. And then you're coming up against a team who is happy to sit back at that point. So switched on 90 minutes is the bare minimum that I ask of players. It's literally all. Just be there. Again, Spurs can be vulnerable when they also with that high line, but where they're also vulnerable and where Bournemouth exploited them is their defending, especially when building out from the defense. So they like to build out, but they are vulnerable. They're not great. Bournemouth pressed their defenders. They got an early goal because of it. They're not great at building out like that. But again, exploit that high line. I think we can move the ball through midfield a little bit because they do want to use numbers wide, but that does leave the middle of the pitch a little open. So if we can force play a little centrally a little bit, maybe get that ball to Bruno or Casemiro very quickly and get runners going, I think that could help. Maybe just get Šeško up there to win that ball and let other people get in running around him. I love an early goal, but structure and discipline are going to be key. Even if we do score early, we can't afford to switch off. We can't afford to become complacent or careless like we did against Brighton or Brentford. We just start sitting around and kind of not even closing people down. Hold the shape, maintain the structure. This is how Bournemouth saw out that early win after they scored early. This is what you have to do. Stifle them. Don't give them room to play. Again, transitions are where Spurs are going to be dangerous. It is where we tend to be vulnerable. So we have to stay patient. We have to stay disciplined, compact in midfield, and I think we'll be in good shape. We can't afford to see Bruno jumping off of space and leaving space in behind. We can't have Casemiro getting caught on the back foot. Stay disciplined, stay ready. And then stay switched on set pieces, because if we give away too many corners, if we give away too many fouls outside the box, we could be in some trouble. So we need to really avoid that if possible. I want to see Lamens coming out and grabbing a lot of stuff if necessary. Don't try to play out the ball. If you have an opportunity when balls get played in the channel, just boot it into the stands for a throw in. Don't try to let them get too deep. This is why Dalot worries me. Jim's saying 2-1. Big up, Jim. Stephanie says, Arsenal and Spurs are historically very fragile. When things go wrong, got to pressurize them from the off. And that's what happens when you have a lot of young players. You have players who they don't have that experience. They don't have that bank of resilience. They have nothing to go on. They're in a spot where they have to start building that foundation. And that's why Arsenal have struggled over the last couple of years. Players who aren't experienced fighting for a trophy. Rob says, interested to see if cousin Dalot gets dropped. They're great-great-grandsons. Dalot needs to get sold, not just dropped. That guy needs to go. And like I said, if you want to see who I would replace him with, go watch my video that I dropped the other day. Box, I don't know if Leach is ready yet, quite frankly. But Shaw, I don't know if Shaw's got the legs anymore to get up and down the pitch that far. Honestly enough, though, Shaw is probably the best crosser of the ball we have right now. So I do think, and I think we're seeing it though, because Shaw does get up the pitch. He does go on these marauding runs. He does get involved. So I think we found a good balance for Shaw. I don't have a problem with what Shaw's doing. So aside from Licha, I think that we pretty much have a fully fit squad, right? So the question though is what is the starting 11 going to look like? I think that given the speed of transitions, I don't know if I would want Harry Maguire quite yet, especially if there's any chance of us playing as high a line as we did against Brighton. I see him struggling there. I do think Shaw, De Ligt, and Euro, I do think they'll be fine. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. But again, Dalot was a problem. Amorim addressed this in the match, not Dalot by name, but he addressed our inability to put pressure on the ball. He said in the last match we had problems in the box because outside of the box, we allowed them to cross without pressing. We've worked on those details during the week. It's very, very frustrating that that's something that has to be addressed. That's something you have to tell a 26-year-old fullback, a fullback who is a defender, put pressure on the ball. Like, why is there constantly 5 yards between you and the attacker with the ball, especially right outside of our box? Why? Put some pressure on that. Get tight to him. Put your hand on him. You don't have to push him, just put your hand on him a little bit, Like, I don't get this at all. But yeah, Amorim was asked about it. He addressed it. This is where I want your starting 11s, though. Rob says, hope we start fast and firing. Spurs will be nervy at home. Yeah, their record is shit against Spurs. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the support. Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, because I've got my 11. I want to know your 11. Here's how I'm going to line up. Pretty much unchanged, honestly, except I've actually decided to go with Mizraoui on the left-hand side on this one. I know some people might not like that, but I do think that from a defending standpoint and from just a leadership and a composure and a mentality standpoint, he's going to offer us a little bit more. An argument can be made for Dorgu. An argument can be made that that's not Mizraoui's best position. He has played there, but in the past, he has played there on a regular basis at Bayern and for Morocco, so it's not like it's completely out of his realm of comfort. But Dalot, I just can't have Dalot in there. I just can't. I just can't. So, but I need Mizraoui to get back fit, and I want this match to maybe go in there and I'd like to start strong. Like Stephanie says, will Mizraoui start is the biggie for me. Well, I've got him starting in my 11. I want to know what you guys want. So Box agrees. He said I'd go for that starting 11. Like I said, there's not much change to it. I want to get Šeško back firing. Obviously, he's not like he's doing poorly. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist, more than Florian Wirtz has got. So I'm not have a problem with it. He did get a good assist recently as well. I wouldn't change too much at the back. Wouldn't really need. I don't see a need to change midfield either. I think you don't want to change a midfield that's doing so well. And literally, because everyone's playing so well, I just don't see a need to change a ton other than that left wing back spot. But I honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see Šeško on the bench and maybe like a false 9 situation either. I wouldn't be surprised that no Bayern goal. No Bayern goal. Remember when I put Fred the Red in there, but when it was Onana and Bayern before we signed Lamens, because I just didn't have any other options. Like Fred the Red, I trust more than those two. No, I love tea in the afternoon, but it gets cold so quickly. You know what I need to get? I've seen these. I need to get one. There's like these little things. It's like it looks like one of those disc phone chargers, but you plug it into a computer and you put like your mug on it, and it warms it basically. It keeps it warm. I need to get one of those for when I'm doing this because that's going to keep my stuff warm. But Agile's in the house. Big up, Agile. Good to see you, man. Been a minute. Hope you're doing well. He wants 3 points. I want 3 points. I want it for revenge of Thomas Frank. I want it for revenge on Spurs. I want 3 points. I thought we could have gotten 3 points against Forest, and maybe this one is going to be the draw. But I want 3 points now. Going into the break, given what I've seen, like, again, success breeds expectation. When we've been playing so well, we've been getting good results. I want 3 points now. I'm not going to say 3 points or Amorim is gone. I want these 3 points. I think they're gettable. If they weren't so gettable, I wouldn't say that. But big up, Agile. Rob thinks that lineup looks good. Yeah, I'm more of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy. And right now, the only thing that's broke is that left wing back spot. Agile says Spurs are bang average in my opinion, except for Van de Ven. Don't say that to Jamie O'Hara, man. He will walk off your show if you say that to him. That was one of the most hilarious things. I don't really have time for Jason Cundy, but when you can make people like walk off or want to fight you or resort to like personal insults or something just because you're just being such a shithouse. That to me, I'm like, I applaud that because that's freaking hilarious. DJ would throw Shaw at wingback over Mizraoui because I've seen Maz blank many times there. That's why the coach keeps playing Dallo. Well, he was also injured for a hot second too. He had some personal stuff early in the season too. So I think Dallo, to his credit, Dallo he does get up and down the pitch. There's just nothing he's very good. He doesn't put pressure on the ball. He's not good in 1v1s on the ball. He doesn't look too confident in 1v1s. His final ball is garbage. Like, I just don't get what Dallo offers personally. So Stephanie says I go with that 11-2. Got to be bold. No Dallo. Yeah, Dallo's just got to go. If people want to sit here and say, like, he's got to be brave and drop Bruno, we got to be brave and drop Dallo. I don't buy for 1 second this whole they're related, so there's favoritism. Ten Hag played Dallo like every single game. Like, it's not favoritism. They see something in Dallo, these managers. I don't know what it is. Ollie was the one who finally was like, I don't really rate him. We're going to get Wan-Bissaka. He's going to go on loan. But I think that Dallo needs to go. Maybe, where's Jose Mourinho at? Maybe Dallo can go to Benfica and reunite with Jose. We got him from Porto. I don't know how that works, but he just let Jose go get him, man. Mad Hatter says that jersey you're wearing brings me back to my college days. Good times. Yeah, I would have been just done with college at that point. Was this 07, 08? Yeah, I graduated 07, so I was done in 07 with my undergrad. But Rob says, I just want to see Shesko on the end of crosses. I think if Shaw has some time and space to get forward and whoever's playing left back can maybe recognize that, I think that Shaw is probably the best crosser of the ball, the best natural crosser of the ball that we have right now. I think Shaw has got a really underrated crossing ability. It's a shame now that he's 30. It's a shame now that his constant injuries don't let him get up and down the pitch as much. But we've seen that in this system, the wide center backs can get forward quite a bit. De Ligt against Chelsea when he was playing in the wide right was spending a lot of time in the opposition half, basically just putting balls in the box. And I think Shaw's got a really good ability to do that. So we'll see what happens. Score predictions. I want your score predictions. 69% of you say that it's 3 points. 25% of you think it's going to be a draw. 6% say Spurs are going to win. I want your score predictions because I'm actually going with, where's it at? Move up, because Jimbo actually called it for me anyway. There it is. I'm actually going with Jimbo. I'm going to go 2-1 United. Why am I confident? Well, aside from their Champions League match this week, Spurs, they just aren't scoring goals. And we are right now. Our XG of 17.8 is third in the league right now. Spurs have an XG of 10.1, so they're not scoring goals. Thomas Frank has put a lot of focus on defending and maybe trusting the players at front to get the goals, but they're just not getting them at the moment. Let's see. What are you guys saying here? Stephanie says Seshko scoring a brace and Lamin's clean sheet will shut up rivals, media, and pundits. 3-0. So Stephanie's going 3-0. Rob's going to 3-all humdinger, just an all-out slug for us. A slobber knocker, right? We are tied for top when it comes to shots on target per 90 right now. Spurs are way down, though, in 15th with 3.4 shots on target per 90. They just don't create a lot of chances. We do. They don't score a lot of goals. We do. Their home form, someone mentioned their home form. Their home form is not great either this season. 3 losses, 1 draw, and 1 win at home this season. And that win was first match of the season against newly promoted Burnley. They don't have a great record at their new stadium right now either. So make of that what you will. What also gives me confidence, Amorim's shown a bit more flexibility the last month. And you see he's got Premier League Manager of the Month now because he's found a way to do that. The players have leveled up, I think, regarding mentality, resilience. We saw that against Forest. And then, like I said last night in the Kickabout, again, go check that show out if you haven't yet. We talked a lot about a year of Ruben Amorim and changed up our predictions for the season now. But the numbers, and like I said earlier, the numbers belie progress, and eventually the results will catch up to the numbers, will catch up to the performances. And I think we're starting to see that. I'm not saying 21 is coming quite yet, but I do like the way we're looking. There's progress that I'm seeing, and it's not just results. It's on the pitch. It's what Amorim's doing, what the players are showing me. In his pre-match presser, Ruben Amorim said that he thinks we are a better team this season. I'd be inclined to agree for a number of reasons, like I just said. I think it's going to be smash and grab. And I think the pressure is going to continue to pile on Thomas Frank. But I'm going 2-1 United. You guys are going hard here. What we got here? Matt Hatter says 3-0. Shesko brace and Mbumo. Nice. I would love that. Agile is going 3-1 United. Would like a clean sheet, but we leak goals like the Old Trafford. Yeah, those set pieces are going to kill us. I do not be surprised to see a goal from a set piece. Probably Van de Ven. He is their top scorer right now. DJ says, I feel 3-1 Spurs. We can't handle the pressure. We can't handle. We're doing pretty well. It's Spurs that don't seem like they can handle the pressure right now. They are struggling a little bit, especially recently. But we'll see, man. Spurs will be Spurs. Jamie O'Hara, man, just never change, man. That's hilarious. We're 2 points off of second place right now, if anyone's looking. I'd love 3 points on Saturday. But really for this right now, the biggest reason I want 3 points is because when it comes to turning a corner, when it comes to Amorim really showing a sign, like the next step, this right here is exactly the sort of fixture that I've said time and time again that Amorim needs to start winning, and winning convincingly, if he wants to prove to me that maybe we're turning a corner, maybe that, you know, the progress is, maybe the backing and everything is worth it. Because it's these scrappy little teams, these Brightons and these Forests and the Spurs. Yeah, Spurs are not a big team. Let's not pretend they are. This is the side. This is where it comes down. This is where you're going to show, is all the preseason, is all the mentality, is it starting to click or not? I hope the players look at that Forest match as a reality check, because if you switch off against Spurs, they can punish you, especially on these set pieces. Van de Ven is a threat. Johnson is a menace. Porro can be a bit of a shithouse. We have to be switched on. We have to play our game, not play theirs. We have to be patient. So I'm calling 2-1. I want to know what you guys think. Also, Ajax talking to Ten Hag about a potential return. Just saying, called that. But let me know what you guys think. That's going to wrap it up for me today. If you weren't able to catch the live, please leave a comment, leave a like, most importantly. I would love to hear your thoughts. You guys know I respond to the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your predictions are, who your starting 11 is. You can see mine on the screen right now. A little bit of a big call on Mizraoui left back, but I do think anything is better than Dalot at this point. So who knows? Maybe one of you guys go out there and do a better job. But in any case, I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please go and hype a couple of the old videos on your phone if you have a couple seconds. It does help the channel. It's how YouTube is tracking things now, and that's how the analytics grab a hold of it. But thank you guys for stopping by today, everybody. Great chat. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we can be talking about 3 points on Saturday when we do the match reaction. So until then, you guys enjoy your Thursday. See you guys on the next one. Later.